Hello and welcome back to Salesforce Alk. Today in this video, we'll be going to learn about the 6th type of Salesforce flow, that is Record Triggered Orchestration Flow. So before understanding the record orchestration flow, let's understand what do you mean by word orchestration. Orchestration is a sequence of different stages which will be having multiple actions and elements inside that. And therefore, record triggered orchestration flow is a kind of a flow that will get executed or invoked whenever we'll be creating or updating the record. And on the basis of that, certain stages will be executed. Now let's understand the same with the help of an example. All of you must have visited the bank for opening an account. Whenever you will be going to the bank, a relationship manager will be there who will be opening up the bank account. Once the bank account is opened up, you need to deposit some minimum amount or minimum balance amount into the particular account. And that will be done with the cashier part. Once you are done with the cashier thing and depositing the amount as well, then your things will be passed to the relationship manager. They'll be asking you that, are you interested into the loan or credit card? If you'll be choosing any of these options, and on the basis of that, the other stages will be defined for you as a customer. And this whole process can be automated with the help of record triggered orchestration flow by putting different stages and by putting elements into those different stages. So far, I hope you got the theoretical understanding of Salesforce record triggered orchestration flow. Now let's understand the whole process with the help of a diagram. So any of the user will be creating an account record, bank account record with some necessary information, and this will be the record of bank account. As you know, it is a record triggered orchestration. That means it will get triggered whenever some record will be created. So first we will be setting up that the flow will triggered whenever the bank account object record will get created. Once it is created, then we will be having a second stage of taking the particular amount for opening the bank account. And this particular thing will be assigned to whom? A particular cashier. Now cashier will be filling up the necessary information for creating the transaction record, and it will be automatically linked. Now once cashier is done with this particular stage, that you can say account opening stage. Once the account opening stage is done, it will be marked as completed, and then whatever you need to do. For example, you need to transfer this particular thing again to the relationship manager, who will be having two options, that the person is interested in opening the loan account or having the credit card. Then automatically, according to that, the stages can be proceed. Okay. So now you can see a particular record will be created, bank account, and according to that, the different stages will be executed. Now let's switch to Salesforce org and implement the same process practically. So for that, first we need to go to flows. We are already here, and we'll be clicking on new flow. There's a 6th flow, that is record triggered orchestration flow. It says that launches when a record is created or updated, and orchestration lets you create a multi-step and multi-user process. Multi-step means there will be different stages, as we have discussed earlier, and each stage can be assigned to different users as well. Okay, so we'll be selecting this record triggered orchestration flow and click on create. As soon as you will create this record triggered orchestration flow, first it will be asking you about the object. As we have discussed that it will get invoked or executed when we will be creating or updating the record of any of the objects. So first we need to choose that object on which you need to do that operation. So we'll be choosing which object? Bank account. So basically I have created two objects. One is bank account and another is transactions. Okay. So these both are the custom objects. Bank account will be holding the information of account holders, and transaction object will be holding the information of transaction that has been done by the bank holders. Okay. So I'm doing this bank account, and I want to invoke this flow whenever a bank account is created, not on updated or not on created updated. I only want that it should be onto the created part. Then the another option is set entry condition. So it is asking that all records will be entering into this flow, or any of the specific records should enter into this flow. So according to that, you can specify the condition as well. right now, according to my scenario or according to our scenario, we'll not be having any kind of a condition. So we are not giving any condition. That's why it is selected as in none. And now we'll just cross it. Automatically, it will get saved. This particular part, you can see that bank account and a record is create. Okay. Then we'll be adding some elements into that. So you can see that add element. Now in add elements, there are only two particular kinds of elements which are there. One is stage and another is decision. Stage will be of like if you'll be choosing any of the stage. Now stage will be having three kinds of steps: background step, interactive step, and MuleSoft step. Okay. Background step means like whatever operations can be done in the background. For example, creation of the record, updation of the record, deletion of the record, sending an email. All these operations are the background operations, right? Interactive step means that whenever we are putting some screen, that means if you have seen the screen flow, similar to that, where we'll be able to put the screen onto the user's UI. So that will be an interactive step. And the last step is MuleSoft step. And we'll be not discussing this MuleSoft step right now because most of you will not be familiar with this MuleSoft. So we'll be discussing about these two, background and interactive. Okay. This is how you can create stage. While creating stage, first you need to give the label of stage, that is account opening stage. You can give any name, okay? But that name should be defining that stage, that what that stage will be doing. And if you want to put some description, you can put that description as well, okay? Now, select when to complete the stage. Whenever all the steps in that stage is completed, then you will be marking that stage as in completed, or when the specified evaluation flow returns true, the stage is marked completed, okay? So you can create another flow as well. If that flow is returning true, then only this stage will be marked as in completed. But right now we'll be choosing with the first one, that whenever all the steps are done of that stage, it should be marked completed, right? Now, what was our requirement? We are again coming to this black board, and we are seeing that whenever the account is created, the things should be transferred to the cashier. Okay. Now, what should be there for the cashier? That cashier should be able to see a particular screen in which they can fill out the required information, and the transaction record should get created related to that account. Okay. So how we'll be doing that? Let's see. So for that, we need to choose what? Interactive step, because we want that cashier should be able to see some screen where they can put the required information. So that will be fulfilled by the interactive step. Okay, so we'll be using that interactive step, and you can see the onto the right hand side, the pop-up box is there where it is asking the different details: label, API name, select when to start the step, select an action to run. Now we were coming to this point, select an action to run. So basically in this there are the options of different screen flows which you have created. Okay, you can choose one screen flow that you want to display to the cashier. So what I'll do, I'm not having any other screen flow for the cashier right now. So for that, we need to create another screen flow that will be defining some fields, and which the information will be put by the cashier. So we'll be putting that screen, and in this screen we'll be having, let's say, first is currency, that what will be the amount, or you can have the transaction date and type. So in this we'll be putting the amount, and in this we'll be having transaction date. Okay, so this has been done, and I'm writing this cashier. Okay, now whenever we'll be creating a transaction record, okay, so I told you there are two objects which we have created, and those two objects are, one is bank account, another is transaction, right? So bank account will be holding the information of account holders, and transaction will be holding the information of transactions. Okay, so let's suppose there is a user which is named as in Rohan, and Rohan is doing some transaction. So I'm saying that T1 is a transaction and it is of amount 1000. Okay, then Rohan can have multiple transactions, so it is of 2000. Okay, so it is a kind of a relationship between these two objects, and the relationship is one to many. Bank account is onto the one side and transaction is onto the many side, and it is a master detail kind of a relationship, right? Whenever we'll be creating a transaction record, we'll be requiring that for which particular record you are creating this transaction. Okay, for example, there is another user as well, Sohan, and we are creating third transaction of 5000 amount. So we need to tell Salesforce that this record should be related with either Sohan or Rohan. Okay, so we need to do that, and how we are doing that, we will be doing with the help of a relationship field. We will not be giving a option to cashier to choose the bank account. It will automatically pre-select it. So for that, what I need to do, I have done this thing and I'll click on done. Now, as we have studied that we can create the different resource. So we'll be creating one resource variable, and that will be the record ID of bank account ID. Okay, so that we can relate it with that description, and the record ID is alphanumeric. That's why we are choosing text and that. So once cashier is filling up those information, then we need to do what? We need to create a record. So you can do create record, and you need to create a record of which object? The transaction object, right? So what we'll be having, create transaction record. Create transaction record 1. How to set? How many records to create? We need to create only one record at a time, because one transaction can be created by cashier at a time. How to set the record fields? Use all values from a record or use separate resource. Basically, we are creating a new record, so we'll be using a use separate resource from and literal variables. So we'll be choosing an object, in which object you need to create a record, transaction _ C. You can see that. And what will be the amount? So as you have seen that we are taking the amount from the screen only. So screen, what will be the another field? Another field is a bank account. It is a relationship field. Here we'll be choosing what? The variable which we have created, that is bank account ID. Okay, and we'll click on done. We'll save it, cashier screen flow, and we'll save it. Once we'll save it, then you need to activate it as well, because if you'll not be activating it, then it will not be visible into the record triggered orchestration. So we'll activate it, and then now again we'll be coming to this particular record trigger orchestration, because we were not having that screen flow already. So we have created that now, and now we'll be choosing that. But before that, first you need to save this whole screen flow. Why? Because we need to refresh it so that that option will be available. So we'll be having that account opening process. Okay, I'm just giving this name, and we'll click on save. So this whole particular flow has been saved. Now what I'll do, I'll just refresh it once, so that I'll be having that thing. So you can see this is what the stage we have created, account opening stage. It will be having, earlier we are having one interactive step. It is showing some error. What I'll do, I'll just delete this one, and I'll just add one more step, interactive step. Okay. Send to cashier. Okay, so select when to start the step. So when the stage step will be started, and we'll be using this only. Select an action to run. So now here we need to choose the particular screen flow which we have created. So what was the name of the screen flow? It is there, cashier screen flow. Okay, so we'll be choosing that. Nothing is set to there. Basically what we have done now, bank account ID, as we have created as a resource variable, it is not showing it here, because how we'll be transferring the value. So for that, what we need to do, you need to make it available for input, because if you'll be making it available for input, then I'll show you what changes will be, you'll be able to see it. So we'll just save it again, and we'll activate it. Then we'll just again choose the cashier screen flow. Basically we need to refresh it again, and we'll add a step, and then we'll be going for interactive one. So cashier screen, and now we'll be choosing cashier screen flow. Now you can see that bank account ID is available as an input variable. Why? Because we'll be giving this bank account ID as an input, and it will be relating it with the transaction. So how we'll be getting that? As you know that this particular flow will get triggered whenever we'll be creating a bank account, right? So bank account thing will be available into this record variable, global variable only, and here you can have the record ID. So this record ID will be passed to that particular screen flow, that is a cashier flow, and automatically the things will be related. Now it is asking that select someone to complete the action. Basically, who will be completing this action? You need to select that particular user. So there are different options: user resource, group resource, queue resource. So user, group, and queue you already know. And what is those user resource, group resource, and queue resource? It's a kind of a variable. If you are having the details of that user in any of the variable, then you can use that as well. But we will be directly choosing a user. So as you know that in developer edition, we can have only 2 users at a time. So one is the admin and another is the user, that is Rohan. So we'll be using that user. And now the next thing is that this interactive step will be available where? Okay, it will be visible where? So it will be visible onto the specific record, and how we'll be choosing that it should be visible onto the bank account only. That will be the record ID. So this is how it will be there. And now select when to complete the step. When the assigned user has completed the screen flow, the step is marked completed. Okay. So we'll be doing this thing and we'll be closing it. Okay. So what has been done, this particular thing has been achieved till now, that when the bank account is created successfully, then the things will be transferred to the cashier with this particular screen. Okay. After this thing, if you need to assign it to some relationship manager or any other thing, you can follow this same process of creating screen and you can assign it to relationship manager, right? So we have done this thing. Now what we'll do, we'll save this whole flow. Okay. And after saving it, we'll be activating it. Okay. So the flow has been activated, but now how it will be visible? So what we'll do, we'll go to the bank account, the object. Okay, so we are having a bank app and we'll be going to that. You can see two different objects are there. So what I'll do, I'll create a normal bank account. Okay, bank account holder name is Yash. Okay, I'll save it. So I'm not taking the whole information. I'm just taking the name. But you can see that where that flow will be visible or where that screen will be visible. Okay. So to show that flow or screen to different users, you need to add one particular standard component into this record lightning page. That will be how. So you need to edit this page from here. And in this page, what you need to do, I'll just show you this thing. Here is a flow orchestration work guide. Okay. So you'll drag and drop that flow orchestration work guide. Okay, here, and you can save it. Okay, so we need to activate this page. Next, and save. Okay, so the page has been activated. Now you can see that right now for this user, you do not have any work guide. You have no assigned work item for this record. Yes or no? But the cashier was Rohan. Okay, so now this white window is of system admin, and now you will be able to see one black window as well. This is another user, and you can see which user it is. Rohan Sharma. Okay, so now we'll see that Rohan is able to see that record or not. So we'll click on all records, and yes, record is visible to him because we have created the bank record. And we'll open this record and we'll see that is it available to him or not. We'll refresh it because sometimes the changes are not reflected. Now it is available. So you can see work guide, and you can see whatever screen flow we have created, it is visible to this Rohan user, but it is not visible to this admin user. Why? Because in that stage, we have selected that this thing should be assigned to cashier or Rohan, or like whatever user you'll be having. Now, whenever Rohan will be creating some amount, like date will be anything, and clicking on next. So the Rohan has completed his task, and again you can see you have no assigned task for this record. That means transaction record should get created, and you can see one transaction record is there, and you can see it is related with Yash only. Okay, so this is how you can create different stages, and onto different stages you can assign those stages to different users so that they can complete their task, and you can do this whole automation with the help of record triggered orchestration. Right now, you have done all those things and completed the stages and all those things, but from where you can see that this stage has been completed or not. Okay, so there are two different you can say the objects whenever you'll be searching for orchestration runs and work items. So work item is what? Each stage will be having different work item. You can see the Yash was having the thing, and the step was cashier screen. It was assigned to Rohan Sharma. Okay, and the status is completed. So if you want to see these kinds of information, you can see it in work items. And other thing is what? Orchestration run. Right now, basically I'm seeing it from different user, so that's why it is showing 0. I need to switch it to admin 1. So orchestration runs. Okay, so you can see that orchestration run. This is our orchestration account opening process. This was run initially because we have created only a single record. If you will be creating multiple records, then there will be multiple orchestration runs, and you can see the status of all those orchestration here. Okay, so this is how you will be creating a orchestration flow, record triggered orchestration flow. Now, if you want to put some condition into that, so you can use this decision operator, and on the basis of decision operator or element, you can perform different operations into this flow. So with this, we are done with the last type of Salesforce flows, that is record triggered orchestration flow. And now we'll be continuing this series by posting some scenario based questions and interview questions. So make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button.